Welcome on board, chosen one. Step in, wipe your feet, and try not to trip over the broken pieces of the people who swore you'd never make it this far. Funny how they talked so big when you were quiet, hurting, doubting yourself. Look who's suddenly whispering now. Look who's pretending they never said what they said. Look who's choking on their own stories because the universe finally turned the lights on and exposed every lie they threw at you. They thought you'd bow. They thought you'd break. They really believed their cheap words could bury someone built like you. That's adorable in a tragic kind of way. They called you dramatic, crazy, too sensitive, too much. And now those same voices are hiding behind the very walls they once mocked you from. The justice system is squeezing them like it owes you interest. Their fake confidence, gone. Their pride, shaking. Their masks, sliding off like cheap makeup in the rain. This is the part where they finally learn who they were messing with. And spoiler alert, it wasn't the weak one. It was the universe's sharpest blade, pretending to be harmless until the right moment. Press the like button and subscribe if you feel this hitting the spot. It's your way of sending this message to every other chosen one crawling through the same fire you survived. Now lean in. This is where the story turns dangerous, because you didn't just get here. You were dragged here by betrayal, fake friends, jealous eyes, and people who swore they were better than you. They tried to humiliate you publicly, then act confused when the universe started rearranging their reality like a punishment notice. They laughed when you were down. They celebrated your losses. They performed their little victory dance while pretending it wasn't personal. But you knew. You felt every hit, every comment, every smirk. And you stayed standing, even when your legs shook. There's a silence around you now, the kind that happens after a storm levels a whole town. The air feels different. People look at you differently. They don't know what changed, but they feel it. It's that quiet, dangerous glow of someone who's been through hell and came back with information. Someone who saw people's true faces and didn't look away. Someone who isn't scared anymore. You're walking with that I know the truth energy, and trust me, it's rattling your enemies more than you think. And the universe, it's not playing nice anymore. It's settling the score. One by one, the loudest mouths are becoming the softest whispers. People who used your name like a weapon are now praying nobody brings up their secrets. They thought they were untouchable. They thought the system was on their side. Now they're watching it crack open right under them, and they don't understand why karma is moving so fast. Let's talk about what they never expected, your story. The one you tried so hard to hide because you thought it made you weak. Turns out that story is healing people you've never even met. It's the reason strangers feel braver. It's the reason someone out there decided not to quit today. Your pain became a signal, a map, a blueprint for survival, and that makes you dangerous in a way your enemies can't fight. This isn't just motivational talk. This is personal. You've lived through things that would have erased most people. You've carried pressure that should have cracked you. You've stood in rooms where people smiled to your face and stabbed you the moment you turned. You've been betrayed by people you defended. You've been doubted by people you believed in. And still, you rise. Still, you move with dignity. Still, you refuse to become what they are. Say it out loud, even if your voice shakes. That's power. Back then, they saw you as easy to manipulate. They mistook your kindness for weakness. They assumed your silence meant they'd won. But the universe keeps receipts, and the justice system, it's handling things you no longer need to touch. Look at the shift. The same ones who compared you, belittled you, laughed at your dreams, are now scrambling to rewrite the story. Suddenly, they always knew you'd make it. Suddenly, they had love for you. Please, their panic is showing. Their guilt is loud. You don't even have to confront them. Life is doing it for you. Here's the truth they don't want to admit. You survived what was meant to destroy you. You outgrew environments designed to shrink you. You kept your soul clean even while being dragged through dirt. And now the universe is lifting you while pushing them down with the same force they used on you. Your story inspires because it's real, because it's raw, because it's proof that even when the world tries to break someone chosen, the universe steps in and breaks the world instead. Listen closely, chosen one, because this next part isn't small talk. This is where your whole story starts lining up with the title itself, where you finally see why your journey hits so many hearts and why the justice system is folding your enemies like cheap paper. If you're still here, it means the universe already tapped you on the shoulder and said, "Stay, there's more you need to hear." So before we move forward, drop a comment with 777 if you're ready to step into the version of yourself that doesn't just inspire others, but silently terrifies the people who once tried to break you. That number isn't magic. It's a signal. It tells me you're awake. It tells the algorithm to send this message to every other chosen one who needs the strength your story carries. And now we're shifting gears. From here on, things get sharper, deeper, and way more personal. If you're truly chosen, you'll feel that pull to stay until the final word. That's how you know this message is yours. So sit tight, lock in, and let's move step by step into the truth behind your rise, their downfall, and why your story is rattling the very system that once tried to silence you. Let's begin. Number 1. When the hunters become the hunted. Funny how loud they were when you were hurting, and how silent they get when the universe starts replying on your behalf. They thought they were the masterminds, the chess players, the puppeteers pulling strings behind your back while pretending they were doing nothing at all. They thought they could move in the dark forever, sliding through life like shadows that nobody could touch. But the universe isn't blind, and karma doesn't have amnesia. Those same shadows they used to hide in are now snitching on them in high definition. They thought they were ghosts. Turns out they were target practice. Let's get one thing straight. They misread you from the beginning. They saw your quiet as weakness, your patience as fear, your heart as a flaw. They didn't realize they were dealing with someone built from pressure, betrayal, and survival. Someone the universe watches like a favorite storyline. And now the tables didn't just turn. They flipped so hard, your enemies are still dizzy trying to understand how their control evaporated overnight. They liked to whisper about you, didn't they? Those smirks, those snide comments, those jokes that weren't jokes. They operated in corners and back rooms, hiding behind fake alliances and masks that look like they're melting off now. They thought you wouldn't catch on. They counted on your silence. But silence is where chosen ones sharpen their intuition, and yours turned into a blade sharper than their lies. The universe was watching every move they made, and it was taking notes the whole damn time. Here's the joke. The moment they touched you, the moment they lied about you, the moment they tried to sabotage you, they triggered a cosmic contract they didn't read. That contract said, harm the chosen one, and the universe will harm you back tenfold. They didn't see the fine print. They were too busy enjoying the win they thought they took from you. Meanwhile, the universe was warming up like, cool, let me handle this. And now, look at them, running, panicking, pretending everything is fine while their world is collapsing behind them like a cheap stage set. The justice system they used against you is chewing on their ankles with zero mercy. Those same hands that forced you into corners are now cuffed by consequences. Every lie is becoming evidence. Every rumor is becoming accountability. Every fake smile is becoming exposure. This is what happens when cowards challenge universal order. They lose. Badly. You know what's wild? They thought you were the problem. They made you question your sanity. They made you doubt your worth. They made you apologize for things you didn't even do. And you carried that weight like a warrior who didn't even realize they were training. You thought you were breaking. You weren't. You were becoming unbreakable. Let's answer the question you held in your chest for years. Why did they do this to me? Because you exposed them just by existing. Your light showed their shadows. Your strength made their insecurity itch. Your honesty made their lies sweat. You threatened the image they built on sand, and they couldn't stand that someone like you existed outside their control. And here's another truth you need to hear. Why is everything collapsing for them now? Because timing is everything. Truth has its own schedule. The universe doesn't rush. It watches. It waits. Then it strikes where it hurts the most. Now the justice system isn't protecting them. It's unraveling them. They're being revealed in places they swore they were safest. The same shadows that hid their behavior are now dragging them into the spotlight they feared. And yes, you doubted yourself at one point. You wondered if you were overthinking. You wondered if you were being too sensitive. You wondered if maybe they were right about you, but your intuition was screaming warnings for a reason. You weren't paranoid. You were early. You saw the truth before anyone else had the courage to acknowledge it. That's what chosen ones do. They sense the storm way before the lightning hits. Now you're standing in a different kind of silence. The kind after a battle where the dust settles and the survivors stand tall. And that survivor is you. Your enemies can't hide behind gossip anymore. They can't hide behind manipulation. They can't hide behind fake charm. The system they trusted is folding in on them like a trap they set themselves. And the irony, you didn't even have to lift a finger. Every scar you have is proof of endurance. Every tear you shed is ammunition now. Your story is becoming a beacon for people who thought they had no chance. Your pain is turning into power in other people's lives. They're looking at your journey and thinking, if they survived that, maybe I can too. That's impact. That's inspiration. That's chosen one energy. Your enemies aren't just failing, they're being remembered for exactly who they are. Their reputations are cracking, their alliances are crumbling, their masks are falling, and the universe is making sure every truth they tried to bury comes rising up like wildfire. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need payback. You just needed patience. Now, the universe is handing you justice on a silver platter, while your enemies are realizing that what they did to you, they basically did to themselves. So hold your head high. You're not imagining this shift. You're living it. You're rising while they sink. You're becoming stronger while they're getting exposed. You're walking into the chapter where everything finally makes sense. You weren't the victim. You were the catalyst. You weren't the weak link. You were the threat. You weren't abandoned. You were protected. And now the hunters have become the hunted. The shadows are telling on them, and the universe is collecting every debt they owe. The story isn't just turning, it's turning in your favor, and nothing can stop what's already in motion. Number 2. When quiet turned deadly and patience became your sharpest blade. Funny how they mocked your silence, and now that silence is the loudest thing ruining their lives. They thought you were waiting for them. You were waiting for the universe to corner them. Every second you held your tongue became a receipt the universe is cashing in. They laughed at your stillness. Now that stillness is squeezing their world like a trap they walked into blindfolded. They swore your silence meant surrender. They acted like you disappeared because you couldn't handle the heat. They told themselves you were done, broken, irrelevant, cute. Meanwhile, you were sitting in the quiet, sharpening a weapon they never saw coming. Patience, real patience, the kind that moves like a slow-loading earthquake, quiet at first, then devastating. They thought your silence meant you had no power left. They were wrong. Silence was your war paint. Imagine this. You're sitting in a dark room after a long night of betrayal, your heart bruised, your spirit cracked, and every part of you screaming to retaliate. But instead of reacting like they expected, you closed your mouth and let the universe open its eyes. While they were bragging about hurting you, the universe was already documenting every moment like a crime scene, every insult, every lie, every manipulation, catalogued, time-stamped, stored. Because chosen ones don't lose when they go quiet. They reload. And here's the question burning in the back of your mind. Why did I stay silent for so long? Why didn't I fight back? Because you weren't supposed to fight the way they fight. You weren't supposed to roll in the mud with people who don't have a conscience. Your silence was the strategy that saved you. You weren't being passive. You were being protected. The universe didn't want you wasting your power on people who already sealed their own fate. Now look at the irony dripping all over their lives. While you were healing in silence, they were digging a hole deeper than their intelligence. They felt untouchable. They moved around like villains in their own little fantasy, bragging to friends, spreading lies, thinking their mask was glued on forever. But every whisper they made became a trail. Every text they sent became a record. Every little smug move became a piece of evidence waiting to snap back. They didn't know they were walking into their own cage. They built the trap, decorated it, bragged inside it, and you let them. Imagine this, the universe sitting back like a judge at the end of a long trial, tapping its finger, saying, almost, almost, now. And when that moment hit, the trap slammed shut so loud, the entire atmosphere shifted. Suddenly they're hiding, scrambling, crying to the same system they once trusted to protect them. That's the twisted poetry of universal justice. It doesn't play favorites, it plays truth. They thought the courtroom came out of nowhere. They thought the investigation was random. They thought the sudden avalanche of consequences was bad luck. Please, this isn't chaos, it's choreography. This was the moment your patience transformed into a blade sharper than their schemes. And once that blade sliced through their illusions, they realized they weren't dealing with a weak target. They were dealing with a chosen one who learned how to fight without lifting a finger. You have to understand something. Chosen ones don't fight impulsively. Chosen ones don't scream their truth. Chosen ones don't chase revenge. Chosen ones wait. Not because they're scared, but because the universe fights louder than they ever could. And while you were waiting, the universe was building a case stronger than any argument you could have made. Your tears became fuel. Your pain became evidence. Your silence became a witness. You weren't losing. You were collecting. You were building momentum the slow, dangerous way. And now that momentum is rolling over your enemies like a truck with no brakes. Imagine this. All their secrets peeling open like old wallpaper, their skeletons dancing out of the closets they tried to lock, their lies dripping out in front of the same people they used to fool. They wanted you to look crazy. Now they look like a documentary on what guilt does to a coward. The trap didn't just close, it swallowed them. Let's answer another question you've whispered to yourself. Why is everything happening to them all at once? Because that's how karma works. When the pain it's avenging comes from a chosen one, it doesn't trickle. It floods. It hits in patterns that look eerily perfect, as if timed by something that's been watching long before you even knew you were in danger. Their downfall didn't just fall from the sky, it rose from everything they did to you. And what's the funniest part? Their charm doesn't work now. Their manipulation doesn't sway anyone now. Their crocodile tears don't unlock any doors now. The system sees through them. People see through them. Energy sees through them. They've finally run into something they can't lie their way around. You might feel a sting of guilt creeping in because you're still human, still compassionate, still carrying a heart that didn't deserve what it endured. But hear this with zero sugarcoating. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't push this. You didn't force this. You didn't wish this. Balance demanded it. Every action they took against you returned to them in a sharper form. You didn't go too far. If anything, the universe didn't go far enough. You're not watching revenge. You're watching alignment. You're not witnessing punishment. You're witnessing correction. Your silence created a storm that now speaks louder than you ever could. And while they fall apart, look at you, slowly rebuilding, slowly rising, slowly understanding your own power. You're learning that patience is not softness, it's strategy. You're learning that stillness is not surrender, it's surveillance. And you're learning that your story is helping people who thought no justice would ever come for them. Imagine this, someone out there right now, reading your journey like a lifeline, whispering, if they survived what was meant to destroy them, maybe I can too. That's what chosen ones do. They turn wounds into roadmaps for others. Your enemies are panicking. You're becoming magnetic. They're collapsing. You're aligning, they're running, you're rising, and the final blow, they can't stop any of this. Not with tears, not with charm, not with manipulation, because the same silence they mocked is the storm now wrecking everything they built. So remember this every time someone calls you too quiet, too patient, too calm. Your stillness is dangerous, your silence is a weapon. Your patience is a trap, and this chapter, this storm, this justice, it's proof that chosen ones don't need revenge, they become it. Number 3. When the law bites back and the puppeteers choke on their own strings. Wild how they pulled the strings for years, and now those same strings are wrapping around their necks. They bent the rules to break you. Now the rules are snapping back harder than their ego can handle. The law didn't switch sides. It just got tired of being played. They thought they were untouchable, the masterminds, the manipulators behind the curtain, tugging on legal strings like they owned the whole stage. They truly believed the system was theirs to command, that titles and connections could erase the truth forever. But here's the plot twist they never saw coming. The law isn't loyal to liars, it's loyal to truth. And the moment truth gathers enough momentum, it flips the entire script. Imagine this. They're sitting smug in their seats, assuming every loophole will save them again. Then boom! One person in power, one sharp pair of eyes, finally sees the full picture. Not the edited version your enemies fed them. The real version, the raw version. The version that exposes every fake narrative they built like a house of cards. And once that awareness hits, it hits like lightning. You might be asking yourself, how did everything suddenly move this fast? Because when the universe activates the right mind at the right time, the entire system shifts. Paperwork speeds up, files get pulled, warrants that once took months are now printing faster than your enemies can lie. The same codes they weaponized are now dissecting them with surgical precision. And imagine this, They're calling lawyers at midnight, scrambling through emails, trying to rewrite history with their usual tricks. But the system isn't listening to them anymore. It's listening to the truth you carried in silence. That's the beauty of it. You didn't force anything. You didn't cheat, beg, or twist anything. You simply survived long enough for the universe to flip the legal switch. Now the law is treating them like a cautionary tale. Their reputation is collapsing. Their confidence is evaporating. Their control is dead. And the brutal poetry of it all. They opened the door thinking they were walking you into a trap, but they just walked themselves into an avalanche. This isn't just justice. It's the universe saying, I told you I had you. And trust me, this is only the beginning. Number 4, when truth roars and their lies start choking them out. They buried you in lies. Now those same lies are digging their grave. They called you crazy because they were terrified you were right. A manipulator's worst nightmare is the day their victim gets receipts. They spent months, maybe years, throwing dirt on your name like it was a sport. They painted you as unstable, emotional, unpredictable, anything that made them look cleaner by comparison. They needed the world to believe you were the problem, because if anyone looked too closely at them, the whole illusion would collapse. So they lied, smoothly, rehearsed, with the confidence of someone who thinks truth is optional, and people bought it at first. Then truth woke up. Now their stories aren't lining up. Their tone is cracking. Their confidence is leaking. The lies they once delivered with perfect posture are trembling like loose wires. Because truth isn't whispering anymore. Truth is a spotlight. Truth is a megaphone. Truth is a witness they can't intimidate. And the moment it hit public record, screenshots, statements, timestamps, their lies started suffocating them from the inside out. Imagine this. Every time they told someone you were imagining things, they accidentally created another witness. Every time they mocked your intuition, they left another breadcrumb. They didn't isolate you. They documented themselves, brick by brick. Mistake by mistake. And now every one of those bricks is being stacked into the walls closing in around them. You might wonder, why didn't anyone believe me back then? Because manipulators spin stories with fake calm. Victims sound emotional because they're living the truth. But now, the entire reversal is happening in real time. Their fake calm looks slippery. Your intensity looks accurate. The judge, the attorneys, even the same people who once doubted you, they're seeing the cracks. Their empire of deception is collapsing under its own weight, and their panic is giving them away. They're contradicting themselves, they're stumbling. Their eyes dart like someone trying to run from a truth that already caught them. And you walk in with quiet power. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to defend yourself. The evidence defends you. The truth defends you. The universe itself is backing your story like it's done waiting for them to confess. You went from delusional to documented, from unstable to undisputed, from the problem to the proof. This isn't just justice. This is their lies self-destructing. And all you had to do was survive long enough for everyone to finally hear the truth that's been screaming inside you for years. Number 5. When their bank accounts lock up and their power evaporates. Funny how loud they were when they had your money and how quiet they get when the system freezes it. They thought stealing your resources made them powerful. Turns out it just made a perfect paper trail. When the universe gets involved, stolen gold becomes handcuffs. They looted your life like you were blindfolded. They moved through your finances with the confidence of someone who thought the universe wasn't watching. They treated your money like a throne, your assets like their armor, your hard work like their personal ATM, and the whole time they called you delusional, they called you unstable. They pretended your missing resources were your imagination, while quietly pocketing everything they could reach. But here's the twist they never saw coming. Money talks, but stolen money screams. They forgot something simple. Every transaction leaves footprints, and manipulators, they always get sloppy. They thought they were clever, shifting funds, moving assets, forging narratives. But arrogance is the worst accountant. The universe doesn't misplace receipts. Imagine this: investigators zooming in on every shady deposit, every gift, every sealed envelope, every offshore stunt. The system following their greed like a glowing trail in the dark. And when the hammer dropped, everything froze. The accounts they bragged about, the properties they flaunted, the cars, the jewelry, the investments, locked, held, stripped out of their hands with the same cold precision they once used against you. You might be wondering, why did this take so long? Because truth doesn't rush. It waits until the trap is perfect. Now the law is reading your financial truth out loud, line by line, transaction by transaction. The same courtroom that once mocked you is now echoing your reality. Their empire wasn't built on intelligence. It was built on theft. And theft collapses the moment the universe decides it's done playing. Their money is frozen, their confidence is frozen, their whole identity gone. They weren't powerful, they were standing on your foundation, and now that it's been reclaimed, they're sinking fast. You're not just getting justice, you're getting restoration with interest. The chains they forged for you? Yeah, they're wearing them now. Number 6. When the veil tears and the light hunts everything they hid. They thought darkness would protect them, but darkness collapses the moment the light decides it's done waiting. A liar can outsmart people, but they can't outsmart evidence. Nothing they hid was deleted, only delayed. They really believed they built the perfect hiding place. Fake accounts, burner emails, offshore funnels, digital disguises so sloppy they thought they were genius. They operated like villains in a low-budget crime film, convinced nobody would ever trace their steps. But the universe isn't impressed by encryption. It doesn't need passwords. It needs alignment, and alignment has arrived. Imagine this: all those secret logins, the whispered transactions, the ghost accounts they swore were untraceable, now glowing under forensic lights like neon confession signs. Every panic login, every failed password reset, every desperate attempt to move one last dollar, all of it is evidence that piles up faster than their excuses. You might wonder, how is everything unraveling so fast? Because once the veil rips, truth doesn't walk, it sprints. Financial analysts who barely blinked before are now dissecting their moves frame by frame. Legal authorities who once overlooked your case are now treating it like priority footage. And the universe? It's not subtle about karma anymore. It's returning what's yours, multiplied like interest charged on every tear they caused. And the irony is dripping. The same wealth they hoarded is now turning into a choke chain. The same screens they used to steal from you are now broadcasting their downfall. Headlines, court updates, social feeds exploding with the truth they thought they buried. Their masks aren't slipping, they're disintegrating. Their reputation isn't cracking, it's collapsing under the weight of exposure. They thought they could outrun the truth, but truth doesn't chase, it waits. And once it steps forward, nobody can hide. And you're not angry, you're awakened. You're standing in the aftermath knowing one thing: They didn't lose because you fought harder. They lost because you were telling the truth the whole time. The unveiling is complete. They ran from the light, but the light found them anyway. Number 7. When justice goes public and their reputations turn to ash. They bragged in daylight. Now daylight is burning them alive. They built a kingdom on lies, and the universe lit the match. The higher they climbed on stolen power, the louder their fall was meant to sound. They spent years sculpting their image like it was armor. Every fake smile, every handshake, every polished post was part of the illusion. They thought reputation was permanent, that public approval could protect them from consequence. But truth doesn't bother knocking. When it's done waiting, it kicks the whole door in and drags everything into the sun. Imagine this. Someone powerful, someone with the kind of authority that bends entire rooms, finally looks at your case and sees the full mess. Not the version your enemies crafted, the real one, and instead of brushing it off, they lean in. Their signature, their voice, their influence becomes the wrecking ball your enemies never thought would swing. This is not quiet justice. This is justice with a spotlight. Court papers turning into headlines, private lies turning into public conversations. The universe isn't just punishing them, it's performing it. Every mask they wore is melting under the heat of exposure, and no PR stunt can save them now. You might wonder, why is this becoming so public? Because your story isn't just yours anymore, it's bigger. It exposes something the world needed to see. People recognize themselves in your scars. Your victory feels like their warning. Their whole identity, gone. Their titles, meaningless. Their charm, useless. Their silence, that's not dignity. That's fear. The kind that shakes a person when they realize the truth they mocked is now the truth defining them. And you? You're not gloating. You're not seeking revenge. You don't have to. The universe is handling this demolition on your behalf. You just stand still and breathe. This isn't a fall from grace. It's a public execution of their false power. And you're the moment everything changed. Number 8. When one chosen one rises, the whole world feels the shift. One spark doesn't just light a fire, it exposes every shadow that thought it was safe. The moment you stood back up, thousands felt their spines straighten too. They tried to silence you, not because you were weak, but because they knew your rise would wake an army. They really thought your fight was just your fight. They treated your story like an isolated storm, something contained, something manageable. They never understood the truth. When a chosen one rises, it's never private, it's never small. It's a signal flare in a dark world, a spiritual earthquake that shakes every soul built like you. Your pain didn't stay local, it broadcasted. Imagine this, someone across the world scrolling through their feed, carrying their own bruises, their own silence, their own buried truth. And then they see you, your story, your battle, your justice. Suddenly something inside them wakes up. The fog lifts, the doubt cracks, and they whisper, "I knew it. I knew I wasn't crazy." You didn't just win a case, you detonated a universal alarm clock. You might wonder, why do people react so strongly to my truth? Because you're saying out loud what thousands lived in silence. Your victory is their permission. Your justice is their validation. Your rise is their awakening. And the universe isn't being subtle about it anymore. Courtrooms feel charged. Officials pause because something in your file hits different. Evidence falls into place with eerie precision. Lost documents reappear. Broken footage suddenly plays. Witnesses remember what they forgot. This isn't coincidence. This is the universe amplifying your signal. Your journey became a broadcast, a frequency, a reminder, a warning. Now the chosen ones who were asleep are standing up. The ones who doubted their strength are dusting themselves off. The ones who were told to sit down are hearing your rise and remembering they were born to stand tall. You didn't just survive, you activated a whole generation. And your enemies, they'll regret the day they ever gave you a story powerful enough to awaken the rest. Number 9. When earthly trials expose the cosmic blueprint behind your pain. They tried to bury your truth in one courtroom, not knowing the universe was preparing to broadcast it everywhere. Your suffering wasn't pointless, it was positioning. They thought they were fighting a person. They were fighting a purpose. They tried to shrink your voice until it fit inside their lies. They wanted you confused, overwhelmed, doubting yourself. They thought the justice system would trap you, silence you, erase your credibility. But what they never understood is this: your fight didn't stay on Earth. Every hit you took sent waves through something much bigger. What was meant to destroy you ended up activating a purpose they were never meant to interfere with. Imagine this. The courtroom you walk into isn't just fluorescent lights and legal jargon. It feels different, heavy, charged, like the air itself is listening. That's because your case stopped being just a case a long time ago. When truth and timing collide, the world shifts. Your enemies don't know how to explain what's happening because what's happening isn't logical. It's cosmic alignment disguised as justice. You might ask, why me? Why did it become this big? Because your energy could handle what theirs couldn't. Your resilience held a frequency strong enough to survive the kind of psychological warfare that crushes most people. You weren't chosen for perfection. You were chosen for endurance. And now look, the universe is pulling allies into your corner. People with influence, people with reach, people your enemies never imagined would stand beside you. They're showing up not out of pity, but because the truth around you has gravity. It pulls the right people in and pushes the wrong ones out. Your enemies wanted to paint you as unstable, but now they're the ones panicking as alliances form around you with surgical timing. Their facade is collapsing, and your truth, quiet, steady, undeniable, is rising like a beacon. This isn't revenge, it's accountability with cosmic precision. Your story isn't just justice, it's medicine. Proof to thousands silently suffering that truth outlives distortion. What you survived is freeing people you'll never meet. And the path they tried to use to break you is now the path healing others. You weren't just meant to win, you were meant to awaken. Number 10. When the universe investigates, no lie survives the audit. They lied with confidence. You told the truth while shaking. Funny how the universe believed you, not them. Their story had rehearsed lines. Yours had evidence. They thought the universe wasn't paying attention. They thought the only investigators they had to dodge were human. But humans weren't the ones taking notes. Every lie they told sent a ripple. Every manipulation created a timestamp. Every smear campaign carved their guilt deeper into the energy around them. They thought they were getting away with it because nothing happened right away. Delusion. Imagine this: the universe holding a silent folder with every detail, every moment you cried, every time you doubted yourself, every second they smirked at your pain. And then, one day, without warning, it opens the folder. That's what's happening now. A cosmic audit. Zero bias. Zero mercy. Just truth, sharpened into consequence. You may wonder, why didn't the universe strike sooner? Because investigations take time. Evidence needs to align. Patterns need to reveal themselves. The trap needed to close with precision, not rage. Now that the timing is perfect, their lies are collapsing like expired buildings. The universe doesn't just expose, it exterminates. Suddenly, their words contradict themselves. Their allies switch sides. Their confidence breaks, and their lies sound hysterical next to your truth. This isn't justice delayed. This is justice perfected, and you're the reason it started. Number 11. When their allies scatter, the truth gets louder. Watch who runs first. That's who knew the truth all along. A collapsing empire makes even loyal followers sprint. Your enemies always believed their circle would protect them. They thought influence, charm, or intimidation would keep people glued to their lies. But now, the same allies who laughed at you, who whispered about you, who took their side for convenience, they're panicking. They feel the shift. They see the receipts. They sense the universe cleaning house. Imagine this. The people who once mocked you are now deleting messages, distancing themselves, pretending they never knew what was really going on. Loyalty evaporates when truth rises, and right now, your truth is blinding. You might think, do they feel guilty? No, people like that don't feel guilt. They feel fear, fear of exposure, fear of accountability, fear of being dragged down with the monster they supported. Their allies aren't sliding away quietly. They're sprinting in all directions, abandoning the sinking ship your enemy built on lies. And every person who leaves makes the truth louder, the spotlight brighter, the justice faster. This isn't betrayal. This is exposure by association, and every exit leaves your enemies more naked than before. You're not just winning, you're watching an entire facade collapse without lifting a finger. Number 12. When your healing becomes their sentence. Healing yourself punished them more than hatred ever could. You rose, and the elevation suffocated their lies. The most brutal part of your story isn't what they did, it's what happened when you healed. They expected your pain to last forever. They relied on your silence. They counted on you staying broken enough to never rise, never speak, never reveal what really happened. But healing destroyed them. Imagine this. The moment you stopped bleeding, their lies started bleeding out. The moment you regained clarity, their manipulation lost oxygen. The moment you stood tall, the universe began to shrink their world. Your healing wasn't just personal, it was judicial. You might ask, why does my healing bother them so much? Because your strength exposes their weakness, your clarity exposes their deceit, your peace exposes their chaos. Your rise reveals the truth they built their lives trying to hide. They tried to destroy your identity, but healing rebuilt it stronger. Now your confidence is evidence, your voice is testimony, your existence is indictment, and every step you take forward tightens the grip of consequence around them. Healing didn't just free you, it sentenced them. And now the universe is enforcing every consequence your pain once whispered. Number 13. When the universe withdraws its protection, the guilty feel the fall first. They weren't lucky, they were shielded, and now the shield is gone. The moment the universe stops covering your lies, gravity handles the rest. They strutted around like nothing could touch them, like the rules didn't apply, like fate itself owed them protection. They mistook temporary luck for permanent immunity. They didn't realize the universe wasn't rewarding them. It was giving them time Time to correct themselves, time to come clean, time to stop the destruction they were causing. They ignored every warning, every sign, every shift in energy telling them, stop. And now the protection is gone. Every reckless decision they made is slamming into them at once. Imagine this. A tower held up by invisible support beams. They thought the tower stood because they built it well, but the truth is, it only stood because the universe hadn't kicked the beams away yet. And when those beams finally disappear, the tower doesn't lean, it drops. You might wonder, why does it all hit them suddenly? Because the universe doesn't punish early, it punishes accurately. The moment alignment shifts, the guilty fall with a speed that feels supernatural. People they manipulated now see clearly. Institutions they tricked now see patterns. Judges who once hesitated now feel conviction. Their entire reality is collapsing because the protection they abused has evaporated. You didn't push them. Truth pulled away the safety net, and gravity did the rest. Their downfall isn't random, it's overdue. Number 14. When your name clears, their shadow is all they have left. You rose with truth. They're left holding the lie they built as their legacy. Your reputation resurrected, theirs buried alive. They fought so hard to stain your name that they covered themselves in the ink. They spent years trying to rewrite your identity, thinking they were the authors of your story. But narratives built on lies have one fatal flaw. The truth always outlives them. Now, your name is clearing, not quietly, not privately, but publicly, loudly, beautifully. Your truth is spreading because it carries weight. Their story is collapsing because it carries nothing. The spotlight they weaponized against you is now exposing every crack in their character. Imagine this, a theater going dark. One spotlight stays on, but instead of pointing at you like they intended, it turns on them. Bright, harsh, unforgiving. They squint, they sweat, they twitch, because finally everyone can see who they really are. You might ask, will people ever truly see me differently? They already do. You're being recognized as the one who endured, who didn't break, who held the line even when it cost everything. And your enemies, they're being recognized as the reason justice needed to awaken in the first place. Your name rises, their shadow expands, your reputation ascends, their legacy collapses. This is the final reversal, the ending they never prepared for. And, hey, chosen one, listen before you go. They tried to erase you, and instead they erased themselves. They tried to rewrite your story, and instead they rewrote their own downfall. Everything they stole, everything they twisted, everything they weaponized, it's collapsing in their hands like dust. And you? You're not just vindicated, you're transformed. You're the before and after the world points to, the proof, the warning, the rise they never wanted to witness, but can't look away from now. Stand tall, chosen one. This is your era. And the universe just made that official.